This is avsongbird, and this is my drabble from my blog pertaining to my organizational skills as a writer, or lack thereof. One of the hardest aspects of being a writer for me, besides continually chasing down the ever-elusive muse, is being organized about it. More often than not, I find myself working on 6 or 7 different stories at a shot, which keeps my in-progress folder on my desktop busy. And as someone who's been writing for a long time and can't always get to a computer in time, I have a fair amount of notebooks around my house. There's just something about taking that pen into your hand and seeing those words spill out onto the pages of a notebook, isn't there? I've always felt the feeling was altogether different than typing onto a computer. I have notebooks under my bed, in my closet, in an organizer tote by my bed, and there is always one in my purse and on my nightstand. Why so many notebooks? If you're a writer like me, and if you spend a fair amount of time at it, more than likely you know the pain of turning that computer on, settling down into your chair with your bathtub-sized cup of tea or coffee, opening that file, and suddenly you feel all the blood draining out of your face, leaving you with a dizzy, lightheaded feeling and your eyes glued to the screen. File not found. Poof! Days, weeks, months, years of work vanished without a trace. When I was still in high school, I lost a story that was over 250 pages, size 10 font, single-spaced. More recently, I found a story I'd been working on for 5 years had become corrupted, and the check disc decided that it would be a good dear and fix it for me. Over 1,100 pages poofed overnight. 5 years of work up in smoke. I spent the next week begging and pleading with my computer, swearing and calling it every name I could think of, inventing some new ones along the way, opening temporary files and going off of old saves and racking my brain to piece the story back together, because I couldn't stand the thought of letting that much work go without a fight. I'm happy to say I got most of it back, and that because I'd been working on the story so often and read over it so often, I didn't lose nearly as much as I would have if I hadn't kept my notes. I'm a firm believer in backups, thanks to that cute little 250 poof fiasco. Don't get me wrong, and after the 1,100-page snafu, I've become even more of a spastic saver than I used to be. One main save, a couple of backups on separate hard drives and USB drives, and my ever-existent pile of notebooks. My husband gets it, but then he called me on the phone on his way to work the day of the 1,100 fiasco and was greeted by the sounds of me panicking and hyperventilating and all around freaking out at the thought of losing so much time and work. He doesn't question my need for notebooks anymore, and to be fair, I'm trying to be better about my organization. I keep my creative clutter cornered in my little cubby hole in my bedroom by my computer desk now. If you're currently a writer or looking to become one, I hope my ordeals serve as a warning. If you're not a spastic saver of your work, you should be. I can't stress hard enough the need for backups, whether it's on another computer, a separate hard drive, a USB, or notebooks. Always back up your work. It's better to have too many copies than to wake up to find that all your work has poofed. I'd much rather have a pile of notebooks under my bed than the it's gone heart attack any day of the week. I've had a lot of you coming to me lately and telling me that you would like to start writing, and, some of you saying that you don't have the guts, or some of you saying that, you're not sure how, and that's the biggest warning I can give you. Whether you drabble or whether you diary or whatever. Saves and notebooks. Many saves and many notebooks. There can never be too many. Trust me. 1,100 pages snafu. I still have nightmares about that day, to this day. Serious. I was crying, I was begging, I was pleading, I was having mini heart attacks the entire weekend, trying to get that story back. Trust me on this one. Let what I went through warn you. So, yeah. This has been Havy Songbird on a Drabble. That was really important to those of you that are writers. Get out there and save your work. This has been Havy Songbird. Night, guys.